Bill of Rights, Minnesota Department of Health. Right to personal property. The narrator appears.
Hello and welcome. This video is brought to you by the Minnesota Department of Health. In this video, we're going to show viewers like you about the rights people have when living at group homes or residences that are supervised. This video shows how people have the right to keep and use their personal property. You will see a couple different examples of owning personal property and what you can do if you are refused the right to keep your personal property at the group home.
Right to personal property, owning personal property.
People living at group homes have the right to keep their own clothing at the residence, and they have the right to keep their valuables in a locked space. People living at the group home may also have the right to additional personal items if there is enough space. Here's an example of owning personal property and what you can do if you are refused the right to keep your personal property at the group home.
Jean enters with a camera and sits next to John and Reed.
Hi, Jean. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, John?
Good. Is that my camera?
No, John, this is not your camera. This is my camera. I've had it for quite some time.
I specifically remember buying that camera 2 months ago. Please give me the camera.
Yes, that looks a lot like your camera.
Can I have my camera, please?
Fine.
Jean hands the camera to John.
Thank you.
Jean walks out. The scene fades and the narrator appears.
People have a right to personal belongings. You have a right to have your own things, such as food, computers, cameras, pictures or photos, cell phones, and clothes. And you have the right to have your valuables kept in locked storage. If a staff member tells you you are not allowed to have your own personal belongings, or if you suspect your personal belongings are missing, file a complaint.
Right to personal property, storing valuables.
Here is another example of your rights to personal property. Residents at group homes are allowed to keep and use their personal property while living at the group home. The group home must also have a central locked storage area or provide residents individual locked storage space so that residents can store their valuables for safekeeping.
Residents are gathered.
Hey, Reed.
Hi, Pedro.
What you doing?
Typing up a grocery list for later. Going grocery shopping, and if I don't type one up, I'll forget what to buy.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll go to the store, forget what I'm going, and I come back home and have to turn right back around again. It's always better to have a list the first time.
I agree.
You done with your iPad?
Yes.
I can lock it up for you if you want.
That would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much for doing that.
Sure thing.
Reed hands the tablet to Pedro. Pedro locks the tablet in a safe. The scene fades and the narrator appears.
What you just saw is another example of the right to personal property. As shown in this video, residents have the right to personal belongings, such as computers, cell phones, and tablets. Residents also have the right to lock space for their valuables. If you are not given permission to have personal belongings, or if you are not given permission to lock up your valuables, file a complaint. Know your rights. If you want to file a complaint or report suspected maltreatment of a vulnerable adult, call the Minnesota Adult Abuse Reporting Center, MAARC, at 1-844-880-1574. Staff are available to take your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Minnesota encourages good faith reporting of suspected maltreatment of vulnerable adults by any person. If you make a report, your identity is confidential and cannot be released without a court order. You can also go to the Minnesota Department of Health website for a full list of the Bill of Rights for supervised living facilities and other videos. www.health.state.mn.us. For Minnesota residents, contact the Office of Ombudsman for Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities, OMHDD. Know your rights. If you or someone you know is in need of legal aid, the Minnesota Disability Law Center, MDLC, provides free, civil, legal assistance to individuals with disabilities statewide on legal issues related to their disabilities. Abuse and neglect issues are a high priority for the Minnesota Disability Law Center. For assistance, visit the Mid-Minnesota Legal Aid Minnesota Disability Law Center website at www.mylegalaid.org or call 1-800-292-4150. You can also reach the Minnesota Disability Law Center by email at mndlc@mylegalaid.org.